Listener, welcome back to the Jamie and Stan podcast. I'm Jamie, the daughter, and you are, sir?
The snow-free Stan, the daddy.
Yes, well, we don't know when this is airing. I mean, no
Well,
one's going to have snow.
there's snow someplace. There's Arctica, Antarctica. There's a snow zone. We don't have any snow here.
There you go. So, we are a father-daughter podcast that focuses on connection and relationships. And today, Dad, we have a really cool guest who I happened to meet when I was a guest somewhere else.
Who is she? Who is
Well,
he?
it's a she. Her name is Shell Dailey, and she is fascinating.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
Whatever. It's so fun, right? Isn't it so fun that we get to do this all the time?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I was talking
She better
to
be good.
She's going to be great. And I was talking to my friend Simone, who she also has a podcast, but with her daughter. And we were just saying how cool it is just to do this with you. And people always say to me, it's so great that you have that relationship with your dad. So I just wanted to take the opportunity to say thank you.
And I want to take the opportunity to say, you're welcome.
Can you say it like Maui from Moana? Do you know how he did that? You're welcome.
You're welcome.
See, there you go. Look, you're so trainable.
Not everyone agrees with you. It's not a consensus.
Mom would say otherwise.
So are my previous supervisors.
All right. Well, if you are into women's basketball, or if you are into talking to coaches, or if you are just excited to hear about how sports can help you connect in the world or in life and uplift you, our guest today is going to get you very excited. Should we let her in?
Open the
All
door.
right, let's do it. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I feel like we should have like a
Theme song.
welcome to your Space Jam. It's your chance. Here we go. You know, like that. Isn't that from like Space Jam, like the music kind of a
I
thing?
think I'm out of the loop on that.
Are you?
Yeah.
Really? All right. Well, we're excited to see you, Shell. As soon as you come on in, we can. Hi, Shell.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Hey. Oh, you're muted. We can't hear you. No worries. We'll get you there in a second. All right, team. There you are. Hello.
Yeah, how are you? How
It
are you
is
guys?
so good to see you. I was telling my dad, he said, how did you guys meet? And I said, we met in the green room of WFLA's Bloom TV show. And
Mhm.
instantly I felt your energy when I walked in that room.
Was there food there?
No, there was
Nope.
No
no.
food. And I'm a foodie. I love
Yeah.
food.
I would have walked out.
You know what? It actually is like a very the room I think is just was it painted green? I can't remember.
It was blue.
Oh, so we met in the blue room
Flu and no food.
with no food. This is like a Clue game, right? The game of Clue in the blue room, no food, but with Shell Dailey, and I'm so excited to
I'm
get to know you
excited
even
too.
better. Yay! Well, this is my dad's
Hey,
stand.
Shell, good morning.
Hi, Stan.
Nice to see you.
Well,
Nice seeing
so
you too.
Shell, we like to start off every episode by asking the same question of our guests just to see where you are with your mental mindset. And I will share with you that I actually recently I'm doing a book tour kind of like you are. And at one of my book tours, it was really cool. They made a special cake themed to my book. It was wild. And my dad and I talk about, did you ever watch Ted Lasso?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So you know how he talks about like be a goldfish, they have like the shortest memory and like shake it off. Okay, turns out that's not actually true of goldfish, but we talk about that and I don't know if you can see it. And listener, if you're watching
I
YouTube,
see
I got a
it.
goldfish pin. Yeah, she had
Mhm.
all of these brooches on the cake. And I was like, oh my God, that is so kind. Thank you again, Angela.
You could break your teeth on that
I
thing.
know.
Are
So
you
I start
kidding?
now we cleaned it up. So I started wearing the goldfish pin every day because you and I both know that in life, like things happen and we just need to like be a goldfish, shut our funk and move forward. So we
Right.
start our podcast asking you, what's your number? And the concept behind it is like, what's your number on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being it's the best day that you've ever had, all the way down to a one where you shouldn't be peopling. Now, some of our guests have said they're 11 and they're a 10 because they were impacted with something in life where they're like, I just don't even give myself an opportunity to have a different number. I personally am not like that. I'm like, you know what? Like the other day, I was a one and I had to deliver a talk, but I shed my funk and I was a goldfish. So
Mhm.
today you're peopling with us.
And
Okay.
decimals do count.
Yes,
You get
decimals do count.
5.2 or
Yeah.
7.9. It's
Yeah.
just to clarify.
Yes, no, I'm sorry to do that. What's your number right now?
My number right now is a 9.5. And I'm gonna tell you
Ooh,
why. I'm gonna tell you
please
why.
do.
It is my 40th college reunion. So I am actually in Austin, Texas.
Woo!
Um, and my team celebrated national championship. That we
Oh,
were
that's
the
great.
first team to ever do it, 34-0. And we had an amazing time yesterday. And I just cannot I'm sad to leave because the school's grown, everybody's grown, just to see where everyone is in life. It's just
Yeah.
awesome. And it's people I hadn't seen. Some of them I see regularly, but there's some people I haven't seen in 40 years. And it was some people that were not athletes that I went to school with that I just saw at the game. It was just crazy.
Like being in a time
But
machine. Sure.
Wait, so you were
yes.
there. You were there for the 40th reunion, and for the
Mm-hmm.
40th reunion, they won this championship.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
Yeah.
That I mean, I
I
can
was
see
on
why
the
you're
team
9.5.
sweating, hair all over the place, enjoying life. And, we I don't know, we knew we would be doing something 40 years later, but, for us all to be together and everybody looks great, feels great. It's just
The
awesome.
celebration was yesterday.
Yeah, it was yesterday. We normally do it on alumni. They call it Alumni Day. So where all the alums come back, and then the seniors who are playing currently get honored. So it was a big deal, and it's supposed to be one of the biggest alumni celebrations of athletes in the country,
Wow. Is this at
because
UT?
everybody comes back.
Sure.
Is this at UT, University of Texas?
Yes,
Austin? Yeah,
University of
yeah.
Texas
So
So you
you're
got
in
you guys got
Austin.
weird. You got weird and kept it like awesome, right? Yeah. Austin said that Austin's whole thing is like, let's keep it weird. Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Who
so
did you
she's
play?
she's riding the residual high from yesterday.
I love that. Who did you play?
I am. I am.
Who
It's
was
it's,
the
it's great.
who was the opposing team?
Mississippi State, and that's not good because it was one of my closest friends, and
Oh.
I kind of helped him along in the business. And I'm sitting there, and I was like, "Oh, Sam, I'm so sorry, Sam. Sam, it's okay." And you can see one of his best players got a concussion during the game, so it took him out. So the score at half, they didn't have 20 points yet. I mean, they were working on 20 points, whereas Texas had 60. So it's just like, oh my gosh. So after the game, I was like, I have to find him. Even though we're celebrating, I have to find him. So I went and stood outside the media room till he finished. And I was like, Sam. And he's like, Shell, how you doing? I said, no, how are you doing? I'm so sorry. So we walked the length of the hallway and hugged and reminisced for a little bit. And I said, I understand you have to get back to your team, but I just want to let you know I was thinking about you. And I know those tough situations, aren't easy. And this was not a good win, especially for your program. But I felt my heart felt for him.
That is such an awesome thing that you did, right? Like, I think that sometimes in life we get so caught up in our celebrations, we don't think, who's not feeling those same ways or getting that same thought or that same, um, celebratory moment. And the fact that you
Right.
took time out of like doing that and going and seeing him is just like amazing. I love that. I'm so glad you did. And that obviously will lead into like what you do and your story and why you've been so successful as a player, but also as a coach and as a speaker. So I just think that's awesome. I love that.
Well,
Well,
thank
take us back to, okay, so our podcast is What's Your Story? And we can talk about what you're doing today. We can get on Google, we can look at all that kind of stuff, but we want to kind of know like foundationally, where did your story start?
Oh my gosh, you would never believe. My mom was into the arts. Like she loved the arts. So music, piano, the whole thing. And I did too until my friends started playing sports. And when they started playing sports, I would kind of look from the sideline because I was in dance. So I had, all the other things that I had to concern with. And one day, one of my friends called me and said, Shell, we need you. I said, need me for what? And it was just like to play on our team. And I started, are you kidding me? I know nothing about what you're doing, like nothing. Dance, I'll pop a move. Basketball, sports, I have no clue.
Yeah.
So she said, no, I need you. You're tall, just run the floor, you do whatever. So I
Did some
get there.
pirouettes in the air and
Yeah. This is the kicker. I was supposed to be at a recital, and I talked to my dad into take me to a sport basketball game. And he says, I don't know how we're going to get this over from your mother, but I'll take you, because my dad was like, yeah, I like her to play sports. But of course, I was in dance. So he said, we went, and they gave me the uniform, and they said, this is what you do. You run down the floor, and there's a little square box on the backboard. Jump up, put the ball in that little square. If it goes in, great. Run as fast as you can to the other end. Put your hands up. If it misses and the ball comes close to you, get the rebound, and try to put it back. If you don't, just run to the other end, put your hands up. So
No,
I
no
did
dribbling
that.
advice. No dribbling advice.
No.
Okay.
I just gave them the ball. Okay.
Good.
I gave them the ball and they dribbled up the floor. So from that point, I had 14 points just
Holy
doing
moly.
that.
How old were
And
you?
I had no clue as to what I was doing.
How old were you at the time?
I was 12.
Okay.
How tall were you then?
Yeah.
I was like 5'9", maybe.
Ooh, that's
Oh, I mean,
12.
that's
Yeah,
tall
I
for
was
a
tall. I
12.
have tall. My jeans are tall.
Yeah. And where was this? So you grew up, where did you grow up? Where was this that was
In McKinney, Texas.
Okay. All right.
It's by Plano, Dallas. It's a suburb of Dallas.
Okay, got it. So, and I just want to make sure. So, when you were doing dance before you got into playing basketball and rescued the team, what type of dance were you doing?
It was hip hop. Well, then it was rhythmic or whatever. So it was just like all types of dance. It was just fun. It was just fun, and
And when
I
you,
still love it. If I hear a beat right now, I'll start dancing.
well, we can make that happen. But so then, okay, so your mom's in the arts, all this kind of stuff. You get this call from your friend, and you're like loyal, you're like I'm going to come out, whatever.
Yeah.
What was that like in that moment when your mom was like, "Wait, what? You're going to play basketball?" Like, tell us a little bit about that.
She never found out until someone later, we were over. She thought we were at the recital, because I still have my little recital stuff. So I just switched into it and came into the house, and Dad looked at me and I was like, "Don't you say a word, I won't say a word." So
Your dad knew?
Yes. So yeah. So when we did it, someone said, "Well, her name is Callie." She was like, "Callie, I didn't see Shell at the recital." And she was like, "What?" She says, I didn't see her at the recital. What happened? And she's just like, well, her dad took her to the recital. And when my mom turned around, we just jetted. I mean, we just went our separate ways. And later on, she was just like, well, if you want to play sports, you can play sports. So that kind of introduced me into, playing sports. Everyone else was so much farther ahead.
Sure.
But I did have some athletic genes. But one thing dance did teach me was footwork. So I had really good footwork. If you know anything about basketball, there's a lot of footwork involved, depending on what position you play and all that. So I was able to pick up on it. And basketball is a game of rhythm, so it was cool. I could catch it, pretty fast.
But during that first game, you fell in love with it. Then I suppose, huh? It felt good.
I didn't know what I was doing. I fell in love. It felt good because they were happy.
Because you were scoring.
Like, yeah, you came in and saved the day, But they were happy. I was jumping up, screaming, 13-year-olds.
Your friend knew where the talent was.
Then that was like, I mean, like, were you bit by the basketball bug and that was it then?
Kind of. I just didn't know all of it. I'm a person that if I dive into it, I want to know every facet of it, right? Sure. And so after that, I started learning, and it was so funny. One of the coaches at the school, was following me around one day and says, "You want to play basketball?" And I was like, "No, ma'am." And she was just like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." And so she said, "I'll teach you." I said, "Yeah." So we go through and she teaches me how to shoot, but she teaches me the old fashioned set shot. Like, it's just like ancient, like nobody does it, but she worked on it with me, and I kind of perfected it.
What is
And
that? Tell us what that, because when I think of like the old fashioned, it's like my hands between my legs and like throwing it up like that.
No, it's kind of like the ball comes from your chest up and you kind of push the ball out. Okay. Whereas when I got home and my neighborhood was full of athletes. So I had a lot of guy friends who were Division I players at the time. And it's just like, I hear you're trying to play basketball. And I was like, yeah, maybe a little bit, kind of, whatever. And he said, show me your shot. So I showed him the shot. I was like, oh, God. Oh, no. No. You will not embarrass us shooting like that. And I said, what are you talking about? My coach? No, your coach? No, we're not doing that. So they spent all summer helping me shoot correctly, jump, with the fluidness, all of that. They taught me ball handling and everything. So I worked on it real hard. They pushed me down. They gave me no grace. Okay.
Are these players that we would know today that are on the like went to like any name dropping you want to do here about like was inspirational back then?
Um,
Or that you're
any,
allowed to?
I better not.
Okay,
Uh,
okay.
but it was fun. And they taught me how to play. So when I went back to school, my coach didn't even know who I was because I could put the ball between my legs or whatever. So she looks down and she asked one of my teammates, she says, "Who is that?" Because
Wow.
I had grown some more.
Sure.
And she was just like, "Who is that?" And I said, "That's Shell." She says, "No way." So she hollers out my name. She's Shell. And I said, "Yes, ma'am." And I run over and she goes, "What in the world?" She said, "Show me what you're doing." So I was taking the ball between my legs and, pull up jumper. She says, "Oh gosh." She said, "No way." And I worked on it all summer. So I told you I wanted to be good at it. I wanted to know what was going. So I worked with the guys and they showed me how to play. So from there, it just kind of just took off.
Ooh.
Wow. That is so cool. I mean, like there's such a power in community play, right? And like
Mm-hmm.
being outside. And I mean, I don't know, do you think that that still happens for kids today where they're going outside and playing as much and getting that same experience that you had during your
Not
time?
not as much. Not
Yeah.
as much. I could tell even from athletes when I coach the muscles that were developed and those that were not.
Yeah.
We would run, jump, and play. For
Yeah.
them to jump rope was extremely hard. And
Yeah.
it blew my mind. Something as simple,
Funny.
as doing a bear crawl. You remember when we were little, we
Yes.
would just bear crawl over the house and they
Yeah.
couldn't do a bear crawl. They couldn't get the coordination of it. And I was just like, oh my, oh my. So I started really realizing that, the kids weren't going outside.
Yeah.
They couldn't ride a bike like a real bicycle. They could
Sure.
ride a stationary bike.
Yeah.
And
They're
I was
not
going,
learning. They're
no,
not like, they're not, yeah, it's not, we're not seeing as much of that. And that's like, I feel
Mhm,
like universal around the world. Like, we're not getting outside, the kids are on video,
mhm.
they're just doing different things. And
Yeah.
that's sad, right? Because like, I love being outside. It was like
Me
jumping
too.
rope. And it's so funny.
Mhm,
We have like, we're in Florida. And so we had like cooler days. Sometimes and like when it's too hot, you don't want to go outside. That's the other problem, right? No one
mhm,
wants to go outside. I'm like, we were outside all the time.
mhm.
But we were jumping rope with my daughter, and then other kids started coming over, like, how do you do that? And it was so much fun. Like we were doing the jump rope, and I was like showing how you run in. I'm like, oh, those skills are like riding a bike. They never go away.
Right. Right.
I love that. So then you're like, okay, so and do you have siblings as well too? Did
I
you?
don't. I don't have siblings, but my mom came from a huge family. There was 11 kids. Can you imagine that in this day and time?
No, I cannot. So that
Yeah.
focus was then on you. So you really had the support at the time of like
Yeah. So I
being
just
like,
jumped in with them. And my mom was the oldest. And so whatever, whatever they needed or whatever they were
Sure.
doing, then, the older siblings took care of the younger siblings. So when
yeah,
she had me, I just jumped right in and I consider them being my brothers and sisters.
that's so cool. And where does your name Shell come from?
Shell is my middle name.
Oh,
And my first name is Lenora, which was my grandmother's name. It's a name that's handed down, but growing up, they would say Lenora, and we both would answer, And I said, well, just call me Shell, or they would say my whole name, Lenora Shell, and and then you would think that's just one word, right?
yeah.
Uh, but then they just kind of just branched off to my middle name, and people just call me Shell.
They could have called
Oh,
it L like in Stranger Things.
oh,
Yeah, L.
She was number 11, but they used to go, hey, we'll call you L.
oh, I just met a gentleman who there are, so he has this name. His name, he goes by Quinn. But I said to him, we did this exercise, like, where does that name come from? He said, it's actually not my name. I'm the fifth of this name. And he like listed out this like long name. He goes, so rather than calling me my name, I just call me Quinn for short of like the being the fifth. I'm like, so,
Ah.
right? So it was shell,
Mhm.
like a shell in the ocean, like a shell, like just
My
like,
mom just thought it was a cool name. She because it's always been Shelly and
Sure.
some of that. And when I went to Germany and this guy was just like, "What is your name?" And I said, "Shell." He says, "No, Shelly." And I says, "No, it's Shell." And he says, "You have ID?" And I was just like, yeah, but I'm not showing it to you."
yeah,
and
just some
and
random guy on the street.
Yeah, because he heard someone call me Shell. Well,
Okay.
it turns out his name was Shell.
That's so
And
fun.
I said, "You show me your ID."
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
right. Like, yeah, I
Yeah,
want to prove it. Yeah.
yeah, and it's
Oh my gosh.
spelled S-H-E-L. He said, "Well, that's a common name in Germany for a guy."
Ooh.
And I was like, "Oh, well, I'm tough then." So,
I love
Um,
it. All right, so
so
sorry, I got it on a tangent. Okay, so we go back. So then you're in middle school, you're playing, you come back after the summer, you're like rocking the court, you're
mhm,
just like in it, and
mhm,
then you just stay with it. And so you play in high school and all of that,
mhm.
and
I
just go
played in
from.
high school, college, and just kept going.
Did dance take a back seat?
Not really. Not really. Coming from a town in Texas, you're able to do everything. Like,
So this is
I
why
was a
they
cheerleader.
dance after a win.
Yes, I do. I was a cheerleader. I did everything. So it was one game. Well, I was in a dance team. It was one game. Our football team was playing for a state championship. I had a basketball game and I wanted to go, the dance. So my dad, hold on. My dad, I played the game. It was an early morning game. Got in the car, drove 5 hours so I could dance
Wow.
in one day.
Wow.
So I was trying to do everything.
But that commitment shows up throughout the rest of like your career, right? So you got
Mhm.
a scholarship to college, right? You got a scholarship to
Mhm.
play. Yep.
I did. Mhm.
And which is huge, which is like amazing. And
It
then
was crazy because no one really had gotten scholarships up to that point that started that late. It
Sure.
just doesn't make sense. And I was just like, I'll go for it. And it was such an odd thing because the coach who came to see me, uh, one of my teammates really wanted to go to Texas. That was her life thing. She had the gear, she had everything, right? And I was a year younger when that coach came. And I was just, living life. You know how you're just a teenager, just out
Sure.
there, just playing, just enjoy, no pressure. I wasn't even thinking about that. I knew I was going to college. I didn't necessarily know if I was going to go on an athletic scholarship or
Sure.
not, but I was going to go to college because my parents planned for it. So I'm out there and I'm just playing or whatever. So after practice, the coach comes up and tells my coach, "Who's that girl right there?" And she says, "Oh, that's Shell. She's la 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 la." And she goes, "I like her. Um, can we talk to her?" And she said, "Sure." So she's talking to me or whatever. But out of the corner of my eye, I see my
The other
my
gal.
teammate
mm,
who really wants to go to this school. So I'm talking to the coach, but I'm deferring everything to, Annette. Annette really likes your school. Annette, she really wants to go to your school. Annette, she's a senior, whatever. And she says, yes, yes, I'll watch her. I've watched her or whatever. But what she was looking for, I guess I had.
Sure.
And so that next year, Annette goes on and she has a good career. She plays at Missouri. And then I get an opportunity to play at Texas and whatever. But it was so cool that Missouri played Texas.
Ah,
mm.
And it was a good matchup, but I know, she wanted to be on that court because that's all she's ever talked about. But
Yeah.
it was cool. But my
Who won
coach
that
was
game?
Texas.
Did you go to the locker room then as well too and give her a hug?
After the game, because our parents were very close, so they sit and wait after the game, so whatever. But yes, it was hard. It was hard because I know what she really wanted.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes people see the talent in you more than you see the talent in you.
Yeah,
Being a
yeah,
coach now you're on that side of the equation now. Sure.
yeah. My coach, she's amazing. You have to look her up. Her name is Jody Conradt, and she's a Hall of Famer on both men's and women's. And she was the Pat Summit before there was Pat Summit. And
This is your college coach, right?
my college coach, and she's still alive today. And but the one thing that she wanted, she kind of uh, was an innovator. She wanted to have athletes that could play at the fastest pace, just like men, could handle the ball, be physical, and really run the floor. Okay, so she saw all those attributes in me and had the height and the athleticism. I could run track. I ran track and all of that stuff, and of course the handles and all of that. But she was the first woman to introduce that to the game of women's basketball,
Mm.
and it was so funny. We would play against men every day. before that was popular. And now, every college in America has a practice squad full of boys in order, to make them bigger, stronger, faster. Yeah. So, but she was an innovator. She thought ahead. And she put in an offense and a defense that was unmatched for women to play. And the pace that was crazy. We ran so much and we appreciate it, but we were in condition to run. That we didn't play like girls. We played like boys. And it made it exciting. It brought a different type of ticket to the game to where people wanted to come and see. And I was really just blessed to have Donald Lopiano, who was our athletic director at the time, who was the head of the Women's Sports Foundation now, was amazing. They were forethinkers. And they brought a whole element from growing a crowd size to maybe 1,500 to filling an arena. So when I was in college, I didn't know anything else than to walk into or run from a tunnel that had a full gym.
Sure.
I didn't know. I just never experienced it. So it was pretty cool. It was packed every night. We were like little celebrities and, all of that. So it was really cool, but they appreciated what we did, how hard we worked. But, even now, as a coach, I had to fight for that. I was so used to it. And I thought it was normal to go to, gyms and play and it'd be full. And I would go like, wow, this team is ranked just as high as we are, but they have nobody here. Why? They're good players. Why? And it was so discouraging, as a coach. And I remember my first job at TCU, and I just knew it was going to be kind of packed in there, and walked out, and it was the parents and it was the grandparents and it was whatever, and nobody else came. And I felt for those girls because I wanted them to have the same experience. I wanted them to experience the joy of that, the celebration of, them playing a particular sport. But it took time, and, where basketball is now, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that other people are realizing, it's a good sport to support. And I think a lot of it was their kids started to play, And it was just like, well, my daughter deserves that or whatever, let's see if we can come out and support them. So it grew from that. So, and I think the product on the floor is better too.
You must have decimated the competition. Were the scores a little lopsided?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I think like you were saying that like, you were playing like boys, but now I bet you made it like play like the girls, right? Like you guys are
we appreciate it. We appreciate it now. Before it was just like, they would tell you were too rough or whatever, but it really wasn't that. It was competition, and that would always bother me. Like if I gave it my all, why is that bad?
Yeah.
That's not bad. It's not bad at all. It makes for competition for you to go out and give it your all. You may have to dive on the floor. You may have to, use your elbows. You may have to step on a few toes or whatever, whatever it is for competition.
Yeah. Was there a women's Olympic basketball team at that time?
Oh, yeah.
There was, but when did the WNBA start?
2000. Oh, gosh. No, it was 98. It was 98 when the W started, but there were several other professional programs that were good to where there was the ABL, which was probably the better athletes there. But what happened was when the W came and they were sponsored by the NBA, so they had those TV rights which pushed down the ABL. And the ABL couldn't really get, they lost their TV because they were on Lifetime and all of that. But it was a whole process. You got Big, Giant, and Baby, so supporting. But yes, there has been several leagues that, were present at the time. Many of the young ladies had to go overseas, which, if they were going to make money, and that's true today. But, a lot of those overseas jobs are no longer just because of politics and how things are going, and they don't feel safe in other countries now. But prior to that was the thing to do. Once you graduated, you knew if you had a contract to go overseas, then you were going to make substantial amount of money.
Yeah. Who were some of your idols in basketball growing up? Like
Growing up,
who?
I was a Laker fan. Okay,
Oh,
so Kareem was my dude.
and such a
Magic
good
Johnson was
person
my
too,
dude.
right? Like not only a
Huh?
good player, not only a good player, but a good person.
Good person.
Yeah.
Yeah. And my son plays at UCLA now. So he sees
Oh.
Kareem a lot. So that
So have
just
you
makes
met
me,
Kareem then? Obviously, you've obviously
oh
met
yeah.
Kareem. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So,
What was that like? Tell so first of all, you got this like childhood idol, and I
mhm,
mean Kareem's been playing like when you were 12, Kareem was playing, right? So like you got to see
mhm.
that and know that. So tell us about the moment that you met your childhood basketball idol and how that went down.
Okay. So the moment that I met him, I was actually coaching and he came. Well, I met him before then because we were playing in the Forum, the old Forum where the Lakers played, right? We were playing USC and the Lakers walk in.
Oh boy.
Okay. And they sit on the side and we're playing and I'm in the game. But baby, I see Kareem. And I'm standing there, right? And it's a free throw. So I'm standing and I'm looking, and my coach sees me looking at them.
Oh wait, you
So
were playing. You
Yeah.
weren't.
I
Oh,
was
this is. Oh,
playing.
you were on the
I
team.
was
Oh God, you were. Okay,
yeah,
okay,
I was
okay, okay.
playing. I was playing in college. So I'm doing this, kind of like, oh. I hit the lady, said, that's Cooper. That's Cooper. I said, if Magic comes in, I'm gonna lose it. So so Magic comes in, sits down, Cooper, and here comes Kareem. And I was just like, oh. So this girl is shooting her free throws. Coach is looking at me, and then my coach goes, Shell Bowen, pay attention.
You turn bright red. You're like, oh
Yes,
my God.
yes. And I go, okay, oh gosh. So we go ahead and finish the game or whatever. So
Did you make the shot?
I wasn't shooting, it was the
Okay.
opposing team.
Okay, okay.
So she made her shots, which gave me another opportunity to scan the crowd. So we get out, we finish or whatever. Coach, gets on to me about not paying attention in the game, not being focused,
For a
stop
good
looking.
reason.
Yeah, well, she knew.
Yeah.
So later that night, the Lakers
But you
stayed
never
in
meet them
our
when you're there. Like there's no interaction at all there. Okay. Yeah.
oh, just wait.
Oh, okay.
So
Wait for it.
we stayed over in the hotel. The Lakers had a host hotel that they stayed in before they flew out. Okay, they played their game, they're going to fly out. So we go down for a breakfast early that morning. Guess who's there?
Shut all three of them?
The Lakers.
Oh, the whole
Yes, yes,
team. Oh
the
my
whole
God.
team.
And
Pat
this was
Riley,
when
I
Phil
think he's the
Jackson was the
most
coach,
handsome
right?
guy in the world.
But Phil, it was
So
was Phil Jackson the coach at that time?
no, Pat Riley.
Oh, Pat Riley. Oh, Pat Riley. Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I was so oh gosh, I think he's so handsome. So it was so funny. So we go in and I see him and I just like, oh Lord. So my roommate and I, we're like nudging each other, hey bro, this is so and so. So we're going in and we're trying to be cool. It's like, good morning. And then said, good morning or whatever. And I said, great game last night. He said, yeah, y'all were the team that played USC. And I said, yeah, yeah. He said, well, good game. Y'all won. I said, yeah. And he said, who was the girl that got yelled at?
Shut up.
And I go, oh, I didn't really get yelled at. I was just kind of excited to see you guys. And my coach just told me to kind of pay attention. And we just laughed or whatever. But it was so cool, that we had that dialogue, and I was able to take a picture later with him from a coaching standpoint. I showed my son, it's like, I'm here and he's way up here, so it was pretty cool. And then when I was in the WNBA coaching, we played LA and I got to talk to Cooper and we were talking about, like coaching and playing. And I told him the little story and he said, yeah, that happens a lot during that time. So it was pretty cool that I was able to have those interactions with the Lakers.
What a cool full circle moment. I mean, that's so awesome. And I imagine that there are little girls that looked up to you as being their idol as well too. So along the way in your and like just so listener, if you're paying attention, hopefully they are, but you've had such an incredible basketball career. You started off at the age of 12 by, getting into the sport, being so incredible that you got a scholarship to college, and then after college, you went on and played even more professionally, right? You played after college professionally. Tell us a little bit about that, and then how you
And
got
then
into coaching. Yeah.
coaching professionally. And
Yeah.
when I finished college, it was just that period of time when I was just like, I don't want to do anything associated with athletics. I want to move on to my life, right? So I have a business degree. So I was just like, well, I want to try business and whatever. So I actually did it. I was executive for Neiman Marcus and had a great time. I shopped my butt off. Loved loved all their stuff. My mom and dad was like, that's the good job for you because you're spending someone else's money, not ours, you know.
Explains why you're so, when I saw you, you were so fashionable. So there
Oh,
you
and
go.
you too.
Thanks.
But it was really cool. And then it was just something that just hit me. And it wasn't something that just hit me. It was we were reading the Purpose Driven Life.
Yeah.
And I was just like, am I really in my purpose? You know, I'm working, I think I'm doing everything right. And well, whatever right is, you know, you check the boxes. And I said, I'm going to pray about this because I want to make sure that I'm doing something that God wants me to do, period. So what I did was prayed about it, and coaching kept coming up. And I was just like, oh no, give me something else because I've seen what my coaches do. No, I don't want to do
Fascinating.
that. So
Really?
over a period of time, my best friend who was a coach kept telling me, do it. And I was like, no. She said, there's a job that's less than 40 minutes from your house that she's looking for someone. You've already volunteered over there to help her. Go help her and do it. And if you want to go back to what you were doing, you can. So I went and fell in love, and it was the most rewarding and fulfilling career that I've ever had.
That first coaching job, who were you
I
coaching?
was at TCU, Texas
Okay,
Christian
so
University.
college. Okay, yeah, got it. Okay.
It was college. And college coaches always had, called me to say, Shell, do you think this player could play at our level, or play at our school, or, is it good enough? And I would, send them back little evaluations or whatever. They would read it and they said, this is good. This is really good. Like this is on the level that what our coaches do. And I was like, well, I'm just giving you something, whatever. And I'd go back. But I had to I had to make that choice of what was I going to do, the purpose, or was I just going to just, be stubborn?
Yeah.
And I ended up following the purpose. And it's, like I said, it was the most rewarding career that I've had.
How amazing. And I imagine that you took all the best parts of how you were coached and apply those, your skill, obviously, right? You knew how to play the game, and the feedback you could give your players was amazing. So I want to jump back into, tell us about that time where maybe someone who idolized you got to meet you.
Oh, wow. I was in a grocery.
Yeah. Outside of today, of course.
Outside of today, okay. I was walking around in the grocery store, and
in Texas, in Texas.
No, in Florida. Okay. Well, it started in Texas. Yes, it started in Texas, of course. And I'm walking around in the grocery store, and I'm just kind of noticing that, somebody's going down the same aisles that I'm going down.
So you call 911 and you're like, what's going on?
This is strange. Did I, do something or something? So I just stopped and just, act like I was really kind of, doing something. And a little girl comes up. She says, and then her mother goes, ma'am, can she have your autograph? And I was just like, you don't have to call me ma'am. I think I'm still kind of young enough, whatever. And she says, okay. She said, Shell, can she have your autograph? And I said, absolutely. So we started talking, and it was the coolest thing. So the next thing I know, she's at our games. So she's sitting at the first row, and she has this sign like, go Shell, go, and it's just like, oh my goodness. So that's when I realized people were really paying attention, because normally on team sports, you just kind of think about the team. You don't think about the individual or whatever, but she knew who I was. So that was pretty cool. And she was so little and so cute. And I think that's one thing too about women's sports. We're accessible. whereas men's sports aren't. And you do get to build a relationship with people, and you get to know who they are, and you have time to spend with them. So that's the cool part of it.
Why do you think that exists? Like I just watched a video the other day and I don't know if it's real, but like everything on Instagram, I think they say 67% of what you watch is fake. So,
Mhm.
but there was a video of a Premier League football team, soccer team, and they were coming out of I won't say what team it was, but they were coming out of their locker room. There's a bunch of kids there, and it looked as if they were just like ignoring the kids. They weren't even paying attention. Like, they were just like, whatever. And it was a whole thing about like, oh, they're just dissing those kids. But you just said that in women's sports, it's different. Why do you think there is that disconnection there of being able for athletes to do it all the time? Like, listen, people idolize athletes. Like, you saw it
Mhm.
with Kareem and with Magic and all that stuff. So why do you think it's different?
I think it's different. Number one, I just think because we as female, we're nurturers and we have feelings that we show, and we want, you just you have empathy.
Yeah.
You have empathy. You're just like, okay, I can connect with this person because I understand, or you just want to make that kid smile. So it's the, I don't know if it's the female character or whatever, but you have that soft side of you that shows, and you want to help, and you want to be there, and So I think we're taught that too. We're taught that, go out and meet your fans, say hi to them, spend some time with them. And then from that, it increases the fan base, and,
Yes.
all of that. But
Yeah.
we're accessible, but I think a lot of that is internal too, just our just genetic makeup, who we are.
It's the male ego that stop believing their own bullcrap.
Yes, yes,
So
yes, yes.
you now have a son who is playing at UCLA. At what
Mhm.
age did you start to see his talent come out? Because UCLA is no joke. Like, that's
Yeah.
and it's a feeder school, obviously, to NBA as well too.
Mhm.
So at what age did you see his excitement for basketball, or was he encouraged?
Well, first
So,
he
yeah.
first he started in dance.
Maybe.
Well, funny that you say that. I wanted to make sure that he was well rounded, so I sent him to the arts and science school at first. And in that arts and science school, they did plays and dramatics and all of that stuff because he was really into numbers at a young age. But it was so funny when he was 2. We had a baby hoop. Of course, every kid gets the Fisher Price little hoop, and they put
Sure.
it through the hole, and they, yay, parents go crazy, right?
I
So
still
of
can't even
course,
make that shot, but yeah, go ahead.
of course, we're basketball people. So one of our baby shower gifts was a hoop, right?
Yeah.
So we get the hoop, we set it up, and he gets old enough to where he can hold the ball, and he's actually putting it in. So around, 1.5, 2, he starts, getting excited and clapping
Wow.
for himself. So when it goes through. So my husband is like, okay, well, let's teach him the footwork. So we had a little potted plant, and we would say, Eric, cut around the thing and around the potted plant, and you put left foot, right foot, then shoot. So he got really good at that. He'd go left, right, jump shot, and he'd shoot, right? So we taught him the other way. So he had the footwork. So he could shoot and all that because we wanted to make sure he was shooting properly. We didn't, basketball
Yeah.
people, you didn't want, some chunk shot up there, right? So
Or like
it was,
me, right? Here we go.
I'll teach you, Jamie.
All right, perfect. I'm coming to mind you. We're gonna do it.
But he was fine. So he gets on his first little pee-wee basketball team, right? So I'm sitting there like, okay, how's this going to go? I don't really know. All the parents are like geeked. They're like, my son is the best at, whatever age. So I'm just like sitting like, are you serious? I'm just looking like this is blowing my mind because the parents are really into it more than the kids, right? So I'm
Always,
just
always.
thinking,
They ruin it.
yeah, I said he'll just run around, and after he'll get a little Capri Sun and we'll go home, right? So they go and they're playing, and Eric gets the ball, and he makes the shot, right? And he claps and he looks at us, and yay. So the other kids can't shoot, they don't make any baskets or whatever. So he gets the basket, he dribbles a couple of times, and then he shoots. And he makes the basket and he claps. Okay. And it's running time or whatever. Well, it's time for them to play defense too. So I'm looking, I said, oh my goodness, my son is turned backwards on defense. And I'm going, what? I looked at my husband and I go, didn't teach him defense. We just taught him how to shoot. He said, I'm a coach. I'm so embarrassed. So after the game, he got his little Capri Sun, and I was like, son, mommy's going to teach you how to play defense the right way. So even now, if he gets turned around on the court, I'm going, oh, couldn't fix it. Couldn't fix it at all. He's not paying attention. You know,
you had to buy a second potted plant for defense. That's all.
Crazy. So his coach is real defensive minded. And he helps out a lot. But I'm saying, Eric, you missed that cue. How can you not, get whatever? But it's fun. It's nerve-wracking to watch him play because I listen to the comments of the other people that are around.
Yeah.
And some of them know that I coach and some of them don't. And when they find out, they don't talk as much. But I don't say, whatever. Of course, the media gets into it, because they want to research your parents and have a story and, all of that. So a lot of times he's had feature stories and that's how they find out. But I still just watch the game very calmly, not saying yay, nay, or whatever. And I cheer for everyone. But it's so funny to see the parents that only cheer for their kid. And it's sad because I was like, they're a team. And I'm quite sure when that kid goes home, you're only talking about the points that he made and not what the group could have done or any of those things. So I always tell Eric when he calls, I was like, how's your teammates? And he'll say, they're struggling with so-and-so. So I said, well, go talk to them. Go talk to them and tell them that you're there as a brother. And that you understand because you have some nights where you scored, 20 and some nights you scored none, So go talk to them because I know that pressure from home is hard because, you come out the locker room, your parents are standing right there looking at you. And I'm a people person. So I sit there and I watch, how kids are treated. And sometimes I just go up to them, give them a hug and say, I'm here, if you need me, because I know how coaches can be as well. And I say, I'm that neutral party that knows the game, that kind of understands, what you're going through, but, don't let it bother you too much. But it angers me sometimes when I see the parents like really berate their kid because they didn't get what they wanted them to get. So,
but you see all these stories where the parents are depending on the kid to like get into the NBA, right? Like that's like that's like their, and not only that they come from poverty and get the scholarship, but like their kid is like their end game, like their dream, right? So
they live through their
pressure of that, right? But then you see the fallout of that in sports as well too, not just basketball, but like football and basketball, and so, like you see that gymnastics. It's terrible. It's a wonderful thing, team sports. It's all in competitive sports, but there's an ugly side to it, which we won't talk about on this podcast. That's a whole other problem. I'm going to bring you back to that one. Question: is your husband, was he a basketball player as well too? Like, is that how you guys met?
Yes. My husband was a basketball player, and he played professionally for 10 years. He, traveled all over the world. He lived in Madrid, Spain, and all of that. So when Eric got to be, I guess, 5. We really started doing a lot of international travel because we wanted to make sure that he was well-rounded. And we took him to all the places where his dad played. He played with other kids, played basketball with other kids, learned a little bit of language, coached the little teams. He just shared his knowledge. So we always wanted to make sure that he was giving back to the game and really kind of understand how different teams and different cultures were, and also different teams' style of play. So in our breaks, like Christmas break and summer break, we would take him to Europe, and he would play on those teams in Europe to really see how basketball was played, because there is more of a sharing. There's cutting, there's movement, there's understanding, passing, there's timing. Here in the United States, it's more skill work. It's breaking you down, it's, trying to go one-on-one. So we wanted to make sure that he was going to be able to play the game correctly if that's what he really wanted to do. So we had to get him different eyes, a different mindset. So we would take him to Europe and teach him. And we would also do camps in Europe and, other countries. How old was
he then?
He started out when he was 5.
No, but I'm saying the European tours though.
Oh, that's 5. No, that's 5. Yeah, it's 5. Was your husband playing at the time as well? Is that where?
No, he had retired.
Okay. And who did he play for when he played? Who did he play for? Who did he play for?
Oh, he played overseas. He played in, Europe and all those, and he was
How'd you
in
meet?
Orlando. Huh?
How did you meet?
We were playing basketball in Dallas, and first of all, I thought he was kind of cute. He came to the gym. Of course, he had the muscles and all that stuff, and he kind of prancing around, And and I was with my friend, and we were playing pickup, to stay in shape. And I was like, "Who is that?" And she goes, "That's Eric." And I was just like, "He's kind of cute." And so we go through and we play, and he says, you're playing next? And I was just like, yeah. He said, I heard about you, superstar. And I was like, oh, well, you're the star. So we would play every day, right? We would always end up picking them teams. So we became friends. And then it's the person that you least expect that you fall in love with, right? He was just my hoop buddy. That's it. We would go to the gym, play, see you later, high five, And one day he told me that he liked me. And I was just like, I like you too. What are you talking about? And he said, you want to go to lunch? And I was just like, I don't go lunch. I don't need no lunch. And he was just like, no, you want to go like hang out? And I was like, it was going over my head. I didn't really want to listen to it because that was my hoop friend that I could bounce stuff off of about other guys. Why would I, so why am I telling you? So we went to lunch and we've been together ever since.
Some lunch.
Yeah, I love that.
From lunch. And we would just play basketball. And one day he was playing. I was, out shooting him or whatever. And he comes down the middle of the lane and he dunks on me. Like big time, like, oh, and I saw tennis shoes and it was like, hey, on the rim. And I was just like, he's got potential. Okay. That's good. He's an athlete. That's
I thought
good.
you were going to say, and then he landed on one knee and proposed. But what a fun thing. Like
that's been our journey. And everybody that sees us, they're just like, you guys, they're like sister and brother. It's not husband and wife kind of thing. It's like two hoopers living in a house. But it's been great.
Yeah, now you've got your son for all of you to play and to go to the games. And I just think that's so incredible. I love that. And you live in Florida now, right?
Yeah, we live in Bradenton. Well, Palmetto.
I know where Bradenton is.
Yeah, you're not far from us. You're not far from us.
We live in little old Palmetto. Yeah.
And then, so do you go out to LA a lot to go see Eric?
Yeah, we're like, I'm gonna head out after this and go to LA, but we just got back. My husband's there already because they had a game over the weekend. And yes, we go out when we can see a string of games, and it's just fun. Yeah. It's fun seeing those players that I played against and their kids, and it's really cool.
Now we're gonna watch some UCLA games. I have a lot of friends who went to UCLA.
And it's cool. It helps me reminisce a little bit. I'll get in my little UCLA gear and put my backpack on, and I think I'm in college. Hey.
What?
Oh,
yeah. So tell us a little bit about what
are you doing now?
Yeah, what are you doing now?
I'm retired now. And what I'm actually doing, when I met Jamie, I was introducing my book and just telling my journey that way. And then my husband started a company after he retired in 2005. It was a basketball training company. And again, what we would do, we would bring international students here, Eckerd College, and train them all summer. And those that had the opportunity to go to college, we placed them. So that was fun. And then we would go overseas again at the breaks and do camps and, all of that. So one day I was just like, okay, we may have to pivot. COVID made everybody pivot, right? Yeah. So we're thinking maybe we can do like cruises or something like that, wellness and retreats or something like that. Because after I finished coaching, I was exhausted mentally, physically. It was just draining because I carried everybody else's weight every day. Yeah. And I need a break, but I don't really know how because I'm so used to this fast pace. And like I said, carrying their emotions and trying to figure out their problems and make them feel better, right? So I said, there has to be like a wellness retreat. So we partnered with Royal Caribbean and we're doing wellness. So we was like, okay, while we're on the ship, we got activities. And my husband said pickleball.
Hello.
Yeah. So we do pickleball retreats.
We're not playing them.
And we go
so cool.
So our first one was in July, and last year. Yeah. So we trained in pickleball on the ship. and it was awesome. We reserved the courts inside on Royal Caribbean. There's a couple of ships that only have the inside courts.
You can't
So
because we played outside on the deck. They have inside courts.
we have inside courts. So you need to check me out.
Inside courts? What ship has inside courts?
The Anthem, the Icon, some of the newer, bigger
Grabbing
ships.
something. Hang on.
So they have like the basketball
Sure.
courts that we converted. So we had like 3 courts, and we like to keep our group small because it is about wellness and wholeness.
Absolutely,
and,
sure.
all that. So we brought 25 people in. We swagged them out. They had the bags and everything, and we enjoyed ourselves. We played pickleball. We had a trainer. We had a couple of pickleball pros. So we just had a business going. So we traveled from LA to Cabo and had a blast. So our next one is we're going to do LA to Cabo. We're going to train on the ship. We're going to get off, and then we're going to have there's a pickleball club right there in Cabo that we're going to have a Cabo tournament. Wow. So it's going to be the people on the ship matched up with the people that are in the pickleball club.
I know you're okay. So a couple things. So first of all, if you ever need a speaker to come on and talk about like some mindset stuff, you let me know. I will happily come and do that. Just pay for the cruise. All
right.
I'll happily do that.
Right? I got you.
There we go.
I got you.
So also,
got something for you, baby.
I don't know if you've ever seen this before.
The world's only original patented pickleball musical birthday candle. Part of your new swag.
We will.
That is awesome.
So I did not know you were going to go there with pickleball, but my dad invented this candle. And so so we need to like meet for like lunch or whatever.
Oh, we're going to
sorry, listener, you're getting this whole other like whatever.
No, this is awesome because the whole pickleball thing, and we're also into pickleball recovery. So my husband has a whole thing to where he has trainers, Chinese medicine, acupuncture.
I thought you were going to say like for your mental health problems that you get on the pickleball court.
Everything. So if you've had a pickleball injury, we got you. So
what a great transition for you guys. Woo.
So this has been really fun because he actually played. Okay, he played pickleball, and he comes back, and I was like, "Don't go out there if you're going to come back home sore, because if you do, I'm the one that has to take care of you. I'm going to have to rub your knees. I'm going to have to put the ice on. I don't want to do that." So he goes and he goes, I think I kind of like this. I'm going back tomorrow. So he goes and goes and goes. And he's been every day since the day that I introduced him.
Well, I'll ask you. I don't know that's where he plays because I don't know him have any stalkers. But you have to. We'll talk after this. Do me a favor before we hang out. I want you to put in your chat your phone number because I'll just give you a call.
We're a pickleball family.
But I love that. What a great. What a cool transition to go from.
Yeah, and we're going to have cruises that go to Greece and some of those other places. Wherever Royal Caribbean ship goes, we have a partnership to where we can do the pickleball on the ship, and then at our destination we can do whatever. So
I worked for them. I worked for them right after college.
Cool.
I worked on board as a social host for Royal Caribbean for 2.5 years. But oh my God, we have to talk. Like this is like just the beginning.
This is synergy right here.
Oh my God, I love it.
I have to have a candle.
Yeah, you're getting one. You're getting one. We're gonna meet up. We're gonna have lunch, dinner, coffee, cocktails, whatever.
All right.
What a cool story! Like wow.
So that's what I'm doing now.
Oh my gosh,
and it's fun.
It's fun.
And you get to do it together. Like you still get to be together doing it. And having fun and just, that's what life's about, right? Like it's about finding joy. Yeah.
I didn't realize it. When you're in sports, you're just such in a fast pace or whatever. Yeah. And you rarely get to see what I call the outside world. And you very seldom get to just sit down and breathe. Yeah. And I kept telling Erica, I live in a beautiful part of the world. We have powder sands, water, the weather's great. It's beautiful. I said, but I rarely get a chance to enjoy it. Yeah. So now I'm really intentional about going to the beach and sitting there and just, nothing. We do something that's called night beach to us. So we'll go sunset and then we'll stay to maybe 10 or 11 o'clock, just sitting there and just looking at the water. And the moon is shining. and it's pitch black, but you can still hear the calming of the ocean.
Oh, it's the
And
best.
it was just like, this is incredible. This is nature at its finest. And
Yeah.
we're so busy to where we cannot enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so,
Anna
I just
Maria or Siesta or Coquina? Where do you
everywhere, everywhere. So we do if we've been to Marco Island. I
Yeah,
love
that's
that
my
area.
island. That's my
Yeah, I
island.
love that area. But then I also like, around Bradenton Beach,
Yeah.
any
Yeah.
of those or
We have the best
whatever. But
sand. I mean, like
Siesta,
no doubt. Yeah.
yeah,
Clearwater
Coquina,
Beach is
any of those
beautiful.
things that
Yeah.
are,
have you
pretty
ever
close.
experienced the green flash on one of our beaches?
No.
I saw it for the first
She didn't
time.
believe us.
Like I worked on, so the green flash listener is when the sun sets right at the ocean, right when it goes, right before it goes under the ocean,
Mhm.
there's a green flash. And I worked on cruise ships. I've been outside all the time watching the sunset, never saw it. Saw it about 2 months ago at Siesta. We were out there watching the
Conditions were
sunset
perfect.
and it was just perfect. It's such a magical
Really?
moment. Yeah. I'm a water sign, so the beach and the ocean is my calm place. Like it's just amazing. But I mean, we could talk to you for literally hours. I know that you have some more celebrating to do and a flight to catch. Shell, thank you. Thank you so
Oh,
much for
I
sharing your
really enjoyed
story.
it.
Oh my gosh, when you get back, I put my phone number in the chat, not for our listeners, but for you.
The,
So
nu- the
yeah,
number the
yeah.
number is
No, 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 no. Shoot me a text. I'd love to get together and connect. I think there's also something that we could possibly collaborate on that I've been thinking about. So I'd love to do that. Tell our listeners the name of your book and where to find it, please.
The name of my book is More Than a Coach, and it talks about my journey as a mom, wife, mentor, and of course, being a coach. And I'm just, it was written through a host of journals that I had, but also it talks about some of the challenges that I have in life, that I've had in life. I lost my parents 2 years ago, and 6 months apart, and it just destroyed my whole world. uh, but they had always prepared me, and all of that, and they were young, vibrant, so that really just caught me off guard. And just one day my mom had a stroke, and she works out, she did everything, and it just happened. I'm an only child, like you said, and I was lost, for a little bit. And I have my moments, of course. Yesterday was her birthday, and all of that. But I had my family and friends around me. But it was just certain challenges in life that come up that you have to deal with. But also the triumphs too. And it's just been life is great. Life is great. It's just been a joy. But
I
my
have
book
gone
is.
up. I've gone up 2 points, feeding off your energy.
Yes, yes, yeah. You
Oh,
know what?
really?
Like, you know what? Thank you for sharing that and thank you for being vulnerable. And what a day to celebrate yesterday, a win on a day that I'm sure your mom would have been so
Hmm.
proud for you to be there with the people that you love most, that started your life and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sorry for the loss, but also like what a great legacy they left in you and your relationship with Eric, and then your son, his name's Eric as well too, right? I mean,
Yes, I had nothing to do with that.
wait,
I
him
was
being your
just
son or the
resting.
name? I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
that name. And I was just like, no, his name is not that. His name's supposed to be Bryce. What are you talking about? And the nurse told me his name, and I was just like, no, that's wrong. That's his dad's name. And she goes,
Talk to your
no,
husband.
your husband said that's his name. It's just like, oh gosh. So I look over at him, and he's going like, the grin on his face. So he was just like, yeah. He said the next one, hey, you can name him whatever you want, but he looks like me.
Man,
So
it's tough, but it's tough growing up in the shadow of a famous coach and a famous dad who did professional basketball.
Yeah. But it looks like
he
he needs
is,
it because he's doing his own thing. He's at UCLA.
yeah, he's the most grounded kid ever.
Yeah,
He
I
he
can see why.
he loves people. And I told him the other day, I was so proud of him. I said, Eric, you know what? And he goes, what, mom? I said, I would be your friend, even if I wasn't your mom, because you're just the coolest kid that I would want to be around. And he just,
Success.
beamed up. So,
I know. We have an
he's a
only
good
child.
person.
I have an only child as well too. I have a daughter, and it's so cool to watch. To me, it's been the greatest leadership lesson in life to be a mom and
Hmm.
to just watch them grow. And I had some disappointing news happen this weekend, and the first thing I thought about was her and about how like she powers through. And it was,
Yeah.
like I'm learning from her just as much.
Hmm.
So,
Yes, you
yeah.
do. You do learn
Yeah.
from them. So it's really cool.
Well, I am so grateful that we had that opportunity. There was a moment, there was a reason we were in that blue room together. One day we'll be in a green room together with what is your
It's
favorite snack?
right.
If you were going to have your favorite snack of the room, what would it be?
I'm a popcorn girl.
Noted.
I love popcorn. Like I was in a popcorn club. I'm a big, huge
That's
Garrett
a whole other
popcorn
comedy
Chicago mix.
time.
Yeah. Oh, my mom was just like, "Are you chewing popcorn?" And I was just like, "Absolutely. Want some?" Yeah, I love popcorn. Popcorn's my favorite snack.
Am I gonna find you in like Target with their bag of popcorn? So it's like the
Oh
saltiest,
yeah.
worst stuff for you, but it's so good. So
Mm-hmm,
good. So
mm-hmm,
good.
mm-hmm.
Well, Shell, I cannot wait for us to connect in person again. Let me know when you're back in town. We'll make it happen. Safe travels. Enjoy the game you're going to watch Eric play. Congratulations on the win yesterday and your 40-year anniversary and all the amazing things. And just thanks for being like you because you're putting out awesome stuff in the universe and we need more of that. So thank
We'll
you.
see you at the beach.
We'll see
Okay,
you on
well,
the
thank you so
court.
much.
We'll
Well,
see you
thank you
on the
so much for
court.
having me. And I
Of
definitely want
course.
to see the green flash. So I'm gonna really pay
Yes,
attention to
yes,
that.
yes. Awesome. Thanks, Shell. We'll talk soon.
Bye-bye.
All right, thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. So
Pickleball. See, you ask
good.
questions and things happen.
I always say if you ask even better questions, you'll get even better answers.
I've never seen those cruises advertised.
I
Like
know.
inside courts.
I
Wait
know.
till mom finds out.
He's gonna freak out. We're going on the next one. Let's do it. All right. Well, let's do it. Well, oh my gosh, listener, we hope you enjoyed this conversation just as much as we did. You never know what you're going to get. What a fascinating human, and we love it. If you want to be a guest, let us know. Again, Jamie, the daughter, Stan, the father. We're happy to bring these stories to you, and we're going to go live in a couple weeks talking about, or maybe we already have, depending when this airs. You can call us in and ask some questions. So if you have some questions you want to ask us about
Only be prepared for the answers you might get.
us. One of our guests I just saw, and he said, "You really never do know what your dad's going to say." I'm like, "No, I don't." And on that note,
I think we'll give the answers first and let questions come later.
okay, bye
See you,
everyone.
kids. See you next time. Bye.